Well, good day, Michael here. Today I'm going to present to you something a little bit different to the knives I normally do, although it will include a knife in this review, but I wanted to do a review on this Pathfinder Canteen, which I use quite a bit. Now it's going to look a bit messy because I have this shoulder strap on it, and when I wear it, I'll see if I can stand up and show you. I normally just sling it over like that and carry it like that. And the reason why I do that is, even though it's got straps for the belt, is that when you put water into this, it is quite heavy. So the actual weight of the drink bottle and the weight of the water in it and all the stuff that I've put in here, which I'll show you and take out and show you what's in there, it's quite heavy. And so the shoulder strap just takes some of that weight right off. And because of its weight, it would probably put off quite a few people, but it also has features which make it worth its weight in stainless steel. You can buy one of these, and I'll just rotate that so you can see it's got little pockets and a little pocket on that side, and you can see it's got this thing here which I'll explain in a moment. But you can buy the titanium version of this, and it's going to be twice as much. I think I paid like $100 for this at the time, and to get the titanium version, you're probably looking at over $200, I would say. But obviously, it's a significant factor of weight reduction, and you still get the strength. But it's a cost thing. That's a lot to pay for what is essentially a glorified drink bottle and canteen. But I'll take you through its features. And the big thing about this, and even paying the $100 that I originally paid, it's probably a few years ago now, is that it's made in America and it's well made. And that's a big factor, because you want the lid to be able to seal properly, you don't want it leaking, you want to be able to use this over and over, and you want it to last a lifetime, which it should do. So you can see I've got this strapped in so that this thing can't be lost. So I'm going to unstrap it all and then take you through its features of the actual container and that. But first of all, I will show you what I put in the pockets of this case. Now this thing I take with me on road trips. If I'm out going for a walk out in the bush, I will take this. It's like my little personal survival package. And so I take this whenever I'm doing trips or going for walks, even though it's quite heavy. So I don't carry it in a bag, but just strapped on me. So it's not always comfortable because it can kind of dangle as you're walking and stuff. So it's not perfect. Sometimes I'll strap it onto my belt, but also have this around my neck. But that takes a lot of setup as well. And these things can make it awkward to drink from when it's full. But you can see it's got quite a wide mouth, and we'll talk about that later. And it's got a well sealed lid, but I'll show you that in a moment. I mean, there's probably lots of reviews of this on the internet, but what I wanted to do is show you what I have in the pockets, which I can't even remember now. So here I have not exactly essential, but it's some tea bags, and if something did happen and I got lost or something, just that little bit of, and it's light, a tea bag can be a great morale booster. So I've packaged that in there. Also in this, I've got some tinder. You can get these from AliExpress quite cheap. And it's easy to light a fire with this thing. So it's made to be a tinder. So it's like a tinder stick that I take with me as a bit of a cheat. And also in this pocket is this little multi-tool from, I've got it strapped in so I can't lose it, but I'll just take it out of that hopefully. So this is a little multi-tool from Olight, I believe. No, it's a P1 from Optical or something. But wasn't exactly cheap, but it's fairly well made for its size. So it's got some good features on it. And it's tiny so it can fit in. Let me just quickly show you. So it's got a little lanyard thing, and most of the tools are on the outside of it. So it's got a little blade, little bottle opener. What's that one? A little pair of scissors, which are not spring loaded or anything. Oh yes they are. They are spring loaded. Take it back. A little pry bar, screwdriver, and a little flat nose screwdriver. So quite a well-made little tool, perfect to keep in one of these pouches. So yeah, that's what's in that side. Then in this side we have a knife, which I believe Christian has one of these. And it's from Sativian 9301, so it's just a slip joint, but it's a perfect size to carry in this water bottle. And quite sharp, 12C 27, no, it's 8CR13 mauve, sorry. There you go, so slightly different steel, but good enough in a survival kind of thing to cut cordage or whatever you want to do. So that's a slip joint, that's well made and quite cheap. I think that was only $20 or something like that. Stainless steel, but it does add to the weight because it is stainless steel. We have a lighter, which obviously ease of use. Let's not make things too difficult, but we do carry a backup system, which is the ferro rod. We have another tinder starter, so creating fire out in the bush. A second lighter, and we have a cheap compass. Actually, it's not that cheap, but it is a flip lid. I haven't even tested this to see how accurate this is. I do know how to use a compass. In fact, I've been teaching it all last term to my students. Well, I have to work that out. Oh, hang on. It's probably got something to do with this, maybe. Maybe you've got to loosen that off first. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, there we go. So, we have a compass. Oop. So that does lock it shut by screwing that in. And I think for my little pockets, that's that. So there's not a whole lot there, but what is there in a survival kind of situation is quite useful. So that empties out those pockets. And then we come to the actual drink bottle, which I shall open up. So the first thing to do is to take off this thing here, unclip it. So it's easy to lose this, and I've got it tied off so I can't possibly lose it. And it's not an essential thing, but I'll show you how it works in a moment. So obviously the case holds the entire nesting system, and on the bottom of that is the lid, which sits on the bottom of the bag. So I'll put the bag aside there for a moment, and let's talk about the actual canteen system. So first of all, let me show you what this does. This is a fish grip, and you can put it on the inside of your bottle and then over a fire. So this actual part of the canteen doesn't weigh that much. It's all this extra bits and pieces that makes up the bulk of the weight. But when that's filled with water, obviously, that's another kilo to add into the mix. So that's a good system, quite useful. You could use a stick and tie the cordage onto closer to one end, and you don't really need that, but it's just a good system to hang into the fire. Whereas stick and cordage can burn. That's a good system for very little extra weight of that fish hook. So I like that. Lid's quite good, but obviously you have to take it off when you're boiling water. And that's the primary thing of this. It's a single war type container designed in the USA. So you have to read the writing too, because when it says designed in the USA, it means it's probably not made in the USA. That's a significant thing. So there's two things to take out of that. If it was made in the USA, they definitely would put on there, well, it's backwards probably in the screen there, but if it was made in the USA, it would say made in the USA. But it's made to specification, and the guy, I can't remember his name now, from Pathfinder school. I'll have to put it up as text later on. But the guy from Pathfinder school that designed these obviously designed it to a certain specification to work well. But this design really comes from the army, essentially, and it's been this whole nested cup system has been around for a long time. But Pathfinder has created it and made it, and it works really well. And a lot of the army ones aren't metal too, they're plastic. They've got a plastic bottle. All right, so this part here links together into two bits, and it unclips, so it's held together by this clip here, and you can unclip it. The nested cup comes apart. So this thing is not an essential part, and you could possibly do about it, because what it's for is putting your little fire in there or your coals and putting that on top. So it sits like that. So you could do without having this and just put it in coals or on the fire. So this system is extra weight. You have to make a decision whether you want that extra bit there or not. For me, I'll keep it because it is a good enclosed system and it works well. So this thing with the handle is designed to lock into place. Got to figure that out again. So it sits over the top, locks into place, and you hold it like that. I went and visited a guy the other day who's ex-army, and this is what he uses to drink his tea out of. So he's got like a nested cup, the handle any drinks his tea out of that. So this is more likely for food, soups and that sort of thing, to heat that up. Anything you want, obviously, can go into that container. Or if you want a second container for water, you can also put that in and put it on the fire. So you can have two containers going to boil your water and to sanitize your water, or you can keep this for food and cook inside it. It has a nice lid that fits on top with an air vent also to let out steam. All really good features. It's a good system. It's well made. It fits together perfectly. It'll last a lifetime. And obviously it's stainless steel. But having said it's stainless steel, all stainless steels have their limitations. So with this particular bottle, I never keep water in this container because eventually it will rust. After I finish use with this bottle system, this nested cup system, I always dry it out and put it away. I don't keep water in this container, and that will preserve it from rusting over time. So you can see all the Pathfinder logos are all over this, and I'll look up and just find out how much now their titanium is. I'm guessing this is probably up to $130 now Australian, and I would imagine that their titanium is 250 or something like that, but I'll actually look it up. Who knows, maybe they're not even making this anymore. But this guy makes these kind of things and knives and all sorts of things. So also with this handle system, I don't know if you can see that, but it's designed to sit flat like that, and it also holds it in place so it doesn't fall over. You can also put this in your fire and it's not going to hurt it. So that's the whole idea. The locking system works well. It's not going anywhere, and then it just comes back over, clips in like that, holds it together. That sits on the bottom of the case and that on top, and obviously this bottle fits perfectly inside it and the seams match up perfectly. Oops, I didn't get that right because this just sits over the... Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, my bad. Take it all back. This has to be nested in first and then clipped over. And so the whole thing's now rigid, but you don't need to take that if you don't want to. And in the bag, it all sits on top of the lid like that. So a very good system. And in itself, my little survival thing, because I've got a way of boiling water and any kind of food, and it's all in one. So it's a perfect kind of design for me, and I can keep some essential items also in the bag, as you saw earlier, and it all fits together well. And I really, if I got lost in the bush, this is one thing I'd like to have on me and carrying with me. So this thing, even if I am hiking out somewhere in the bush, if I go off anywhere into the toilet or whatever, this thing stays with me, because if I got lost, and even sometimes in the thick bush, you can go off for 50 meters or so to go to the toilet, and you can get turned around and lose your way really easily. You need to mark your way in or have a compass, mark your way out. That's how easy it can be to get lost in really thick bush. So be careful of that one. Yes, I would recommend this system, but it is heavy. I should put it all back in and just weigh it at the end. I haven't got my scales, but I'll go and grab those. So I'll put it all in. I'm not going to fill it up with water. Just without the water, I'll weigh it, And just to show you how it is, if you've got the money, the titanium would be perfect at a cost, at a big cost. Right, here I was going blah, 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 just wrapping up and finishing off. And my iPad had overheated and I missed all that. So I'll just finish off here anyway and wrap it up. But what I said was really good, I'm sure. So just to weigh this without any water in it. And we'll see what our overall weight is. So the overall weight of this whole thing is 1.29 kilograms. So 1.3 kilos all up. Add in another kilo for the water, at least, maybe a bit more. And you know, you've got 2.5 kilos all up, which is a lot of weight. That's the only downside in this whole system. And you need to decide whether that weight is worth it or whether you'll just go for a lighter system that has a plastic bottle maybe, whether you'll take out that cooking base plate, those sort of things. You'll need to decide on. So thank you for watching. Have a great day and time to cool down my iPad. Bye.